Oh, hi, podcast listeners. There's many ways you can listen to the Real Nerds podcast. You can subscribe on iTunes. You can also subscribe on Stitcher Radio. You want to send us a Twitter message? You can do that. It's so easy, at Real Nerds. Like us on Facebook, Real Nerds Podcast. You can visit our website, realnerdspodcast.com, where there'll be a lot of articles for you to not only read, but to listen to our previous shows. Do you like your stories told through pictures? Then you can also follow us at Real Nerds on Instagram. You can also call us, 720-6nerds5. Thanks for listening, and enjoy the show.
Camera, action!
Well, a real nerd knows who shot, and a real nerd can follow the plot, and a real nerd can...
Don't talk film! I'm sorry.
Take it outside.
Well, a real nerd knows who shot, and a real nerd can follow the plot, and a real nerd will give it all they got. Lights, camera, action! Real nerds!
I'm going to do a proper introduction because
Absolutely.
we forgot to. Or we just started talking.
We just, it was just so
we've been here
comfortable.
for hours.
It is. It's really comfortable. Well, this is Real Nerds. I am Ryan. This is James. And we are honored to have George's Jeanty, correct? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes,
Good.
sure.
He is the artist of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Season 8 and 9 now.
And 9.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. It's cool to have you because me and James are huge fans. And
Absolutely.
to have you on here
nice.
is an honor, so we really
you.
appreciate it.
You were sort of like, you were that big name here that I was like, if we could get him, man, that would be so cool.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
I'm
you know,
sure all of this is recycled from
thank
Rebecca
you.
Isaacs.
No, it's not.
no,
No.
That's
There was a
today.
completely different love for Rebecca Isaacs.
Yeah, she's a lot cuter than I am. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
The thing with that, though, is the Angel and Faith book took us by surprise
Yeah.
about how good it was, where your book, we kind of
It's just
knew it was
consistent
gonna
at
be
this
good.
point. Like, it's
And-
always good.
Funny enough, well, obviously before all of this ever got started, and we were still doing season 8, I was talking to Joss. He called me
Sorry.
up. I don't even know. I probably called him because I remember I was at lunch, and it's one of those things. My phone rang, and I'm like, "Oh snap! It's Joss. Maybe I should take this." and he's like, "Yeah, I just wanted to call. You call. I'm sorry I couldn't get back to you. I was just calling you back." And because I just had mentioned to him, "Hey, we're coming towards the end of season 8, and I'm just wanted to get a feel for you, what your plans were, what your future plans and all that with the comic stuff are. So whenever, give me a call. Hey, hope things are well." And then he does, and he was like, "Well, are you planning on coming back?" And I was like, "Well, are you planning on coming back? Because me coming back is really hinged on you coming back."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, no, I'll come back if you come back." Like,
Wow.
I think you would have been doing this regardless of my involvement. And I can't remember where I was going with this.
Were you?
Oh, right. Well, because I just had said, well, I'd heard that there was going to be an Angel, that we're getting the franchise back from IDW, and he's like, yeah, we're going to do that, and we're going to sort of make it more cohesive. And but he didn't really have a plan for the Angel book. He knew kind of where he wanted to go with Buffy, and when I tell the story, I don't want it to seem like, oh, well, I gave him the idea and he just ran with it, because that's not the case. But as we were talking, he was like, yeah, I really don't know what I want to do, where I want to go, or a lot of the specifics about it. And I was like, oh, because I was still reeling over this whole Giles death thing.
Oh,
and I was
gosh.
like, you have to involve that in some way, because you can't just have Angel have killed, spoilers,
Yeah.
so I'm sure you guys
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
you can't have Angel just have killed Giles and let that be the case. And he's like, well, no, Buffy is extreme. She can't even be with him. And in a weird way, that's what initiates Angel and Faith, because essentially Buffy has sent him away. Like, I can't even look at you. I can't talk to you. For all intents and purposes, you killed my dad, and all that. And that's why there's a page or two in the last issue of season 8, I want to say, where Faith and Buffy are talking, and the last panel of that is a close-up of Angel, and there's like cuts and bruises on his face, and you can only assume what happened, but there is a reason why that's the case and why he's almost catatonic, which I'm assuming will be dealt with in future issues of Angel. But because of that, he goes off into his own book, and obviously Faith now is rich and she can do what she wants. And he was like, yeah, I just don't know where to go. And I said, well, hey, you really need to do it. And he's like, yeah, maybe Angel tries to redeem himself by thinking he can bring Giles back. And I'm like, that's brilliant. Do it. Yes.
That is the most amazing thing, because that's what I love about that book, is that Giles, which was so much the heart of Buffy, is still even though he's dead, he is so the centerpiece of Angel and Faith.
So much so where I told him, you know what? That sounds great. I would love to do that book.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, so you don't want to do Buffy then? I was like, well, no, I'm just saying. Well, where would you rather have me? He's like, well, I mean, you do what you want, but I'd rather have you with Buffy over there. I was like, okay, but I knew somewhere in the back of my head, if this was pulled off right, this would be done very, very well.
Oh, man.
Christos Gage, obviously, who's the writer.
Who's just been killing it.
It's just really, and it's surprising me because I wasn't as familiar with his work. And I think a lot of the problems, people coming over to the Whedon or the Buffy universe, whatever you want to call it, is finding the language to these characters, which, after 7 years, you all know. You may not be able to write it yourself, but you know what they sound like.
Very few people can write it.
And I thought with very few exceptions, we had a lot of the writers from the TV show coming and doing the book. And Brian K. Vaughan, who wasn't one of the writers, I thought really came in and nailed the dialogue, as well as Christos now is really nailing the sound of Buffy. And I was kicking myself thinking, God, I can't do 2 books a month. I can't do 2 books a month. And I thought, man, that's an ego. Like, hey, we're doing another book, and I'll do that one too. Sure, I'll run the whole universe.
And it's funny because Faith was always a character that never quite connected with me on the show. Like it just,
really?
It never. I don't know what it is. It was just
connected me in so many ways.
Well, yeah, but when Brian K. Vaughan came on the book, his arc was the one that broke that character open for me. And then Christos Gage just is amazing. What was it like to work with Brian K. Vaughan? Is where I'm going.
Great.
Were you working really close with him, or?
Yeah. I usually like to. I'm a very hands-on artist, and when I read the script, I usually like to talk to the writer to just say, well, let me get your thoughts. Where were you feeling emotionally? Because you can write something down, but just like sarcasm, especially in texting, you really can't tell, was this meant this way or was this meant this way? So I really like to talk to the writers whenever possible. What was your intent? Where were you going? So I know how to illustrate that sort of thing. And same with Brian. And he came in. He's like, I love the universe. And he's like, I love the Faith stuff because Faith is from, oh God, and all these trivia, no prizes here. She's from someplace in Ohio or Baltimore, where the character Faith Lehane is from, is where Brian K. Vaughan is from. He's like, I grew up there, so that's where the book actually opens, where she's from. And a little known fact, that storyline was supposed to be the video game originally, but never really got off the ground.
Wow.
Whereas somebody, Faith or Buffy, depending on what the video game would do, was hunting other Slayers because they've gone rogue.
Right.
And it never came about, but they shoehorned it into season 8. Along with, there was a sort of a cartoony issue with Mark Waid, I want to say. And that was an unfinished script for the cartoon, the proposed cartoon that never got off the ground either. So they were sort of recycling all of these things they were going to do with Buffy and just bringing them over into the comic book. But Brian K., I thought, was really, really great. And I can only assume he was happy with me because he's like, so what are you doing after this? Are you going to stay with Buffy? We could definitely do something. I was like, I will keep your number, sir.
And now's the thing. He's back in comics again. Now's your chance. That would be too cool.
I know. Yeah, he was just at that point going off and writing.
Doing Lost and all
for
that
scripts and doing Lost stuff. So.
That's too cool.
Yeah.
What was it like? So you were handpicked by Joss to do Buffy, correct?
That makes me sound so much better than it actually is. I will say, and I guess I'm so self-deprecating, I can't ever really give myself a compliment. I will say I was on a list of people that Joss put together and said, if we can get any of these guys, I would be really happy.
Yeah.
I don't know where on that list I was or how far down they had to go until they got to me. But yes, he knew my work. I want, obviously, because Joss is a big comic book fan.
Oh, yeah.
I want to say either from Gambit or from Bishop, for Marvel, because I know he was more
Right.
of a Marvel fan growing
yeah.
up than a DC fan, and I mean, impressed the hell out of me. He's like, no, I remembered your stuff, and I thought when it came, I don't know how he would think Bishop and Buffy could ever be correlated. That guy would be great for this book.
Yeah.
So that was, I was handpicked by Joss Whedon. Yeah.
And when that happened, because we talked yesterday to Rebecca Isaacs about how when she came onto the book, what she has to go through in order to turn those actors into those characters, and
Like,
and the
licensing?
process of getting them approved by the actors and all of that. How long was that process? Was it hard?
No, well, I mean, and I hate to rip down the curtain and show the guy behind the curtain and
yeah,
doing all of the mechanics there, but it's an approval process, yes. Did I believe for 1 minute that Sarah Michelle Gellar was actually looking at something I drew and said,
oh,
I don't know if this guy's right. Let's see.
Yeah.
I more akin it to an office at 20th Century Fox, and whoever that licensing manager is, he looks at it and says, okay, yeah, this is approved, this isn't approved. I know all of the actors on the TV show, they have signed a contract that said something about merchandise rights and likenesses. Whatever they did, whether it be action figures or toys, whatever, comic books fell under that umbrella as well. So they signed off on that already.
Oh.
And with the comic books getting the likeness rights approved, it's more of a thing. I guess they really just want to see that you don't draw her with a third eye or something.
Yeah.
Or, just something so far off the mark where you're like, did we approve this, really?
yeah.
Like Dawn with the half horse body. Or
Exactly. That comes later. That having been said, once they approve you, you're good to go.
You're good.
It's funny, they can't ever say anything again. So I can ideally draw Sarah Michelle, any way beautiful, but then, God, give her a black eye the whole time.
Yeah.
Once I've been approved, because they can't really say anything. And this was the first time in season 8 that Joss was actually involved. Funny enough, in the comic books,
Right.
because he had only ever really done Frey, and then a story in Tales of the Slayer, but he'd actually never been involved in the comics. And Dark Horse had already been publishing it for 5-6 years at that point. And from there, I assume that they figured if Joss is involved, I think he'll know enough to go, well, this is right and this isn't right. So they were very lenient, I feel, with me.
Oh, okay.
But I did have to go through an approval process, yes.
I heard you talk to somebody yesterday about the fact that, because Buffy is a very iconic character, a feminist symbol for sure at this point.
Very
and
much.
somebody said something about making her boobs bigger, and you made a point about no, there were specific things that they told you that was one of them that
Yeah.
you couldn't do.
I
Was there
thought-
anything else that
yeah.
they were like, hey, don't mess with this?
In terms of that statement, I think she was the woman who said that was assumed that once Buffy was turned into a comic book, her breasts would automatically get
Right,
bigger.
which is a horrible
And,
stigma
yeah,
of
I know.
comics. yeah.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
And, no, that was Joss's thing. Well, Joss is always like that. But he's if he's anything, he's about diversity. And
Yeah.
because he'd said, all right, when you draw, I don't want them all to be perfect. There are some heavy girls. There are some obviously black, Asian, Latino, whatever, we're putting in there. There is a diverse group of things and women in there.
Yeah.
So don't stay idealistic. I'm a very big believer in, if this is what the character looks like, why would you change? Right, where Buffy wouldn't have gotten a boob job done
Yeah.
in between season 7 and 8.
Yeah.
So I tried to keep her as very much the same character as she was on television.
Were you into Buffy beforehand? Like, were you into the show and all of that?
No, I was, like you said, she's such an icon. I was aware of her from pop culture. I'd never seen an episode, to be honest. Well, I saw one episode when it was in the run, and that was the John Ritter episode. And I only saw that because I was a John Ritter fan.
Oh, man. A horrible way to get introduced to the show, though.
Probably, not one of the better episodes.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay. Whatever,
yeah.
It doesn't really do it for me, but hey, whatever. The funny thing there, too, I've never seen Xena,
Oh, yeah.
the warrior princess, either. So
But that episode does actually kind of make sense, because where I was going was that part of what I think makes your art so perfect for the book is that your style is perfect for balancing the humor and the action and the drama all together really well, especially the facial features. And I just thought I assumed that you had seen the show and knew it so well because you translate that so well.
Well, once they gave me the gig, they sent me season 6 and 7.
Oh, okay.
So my introduction to Buffy actually is season 6, where she's actually reborn in a weird way, and then going on through season 7. So I wasn't really aware of any of the other stuff. So it's funny because those first few issues of Buffy that I drew, had I to do it over again, I would have done it a little better, I think, because there's all of these little nuances I could have stuck in that I just was not aware of.
Yeah.
Because I was really starting to draw the book before I was fully immersed into the universe.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really as versed with that. But I quickly got there. On my own, I went out and got seasons 1 through 5. And just had a huge marathon, and
too cool.
And then Angel, and then all the other stuff.
Do you have any more Angel questions or Buffy questions before I move on?
No. I mean, you pretty much covered this. Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. No spoilers then. Cool.
Yeah.
So what's happening in the future? What's going on?
Hey, no.
The facial expressions, when Buffy's dreaming about having sex with Spike while she's talking to him on his ship. I love that whole interplay with him. Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, I'm no Kevin McGuire, but I try to. I went into acting a little bit in college, so I try to have the characters act. And when you do take acting, they tell you, always have a prop or always try to have the character do something and not just stand there per se. So it's been a conscious effort of mine to, like you mentioned that scene, like Buffy's drying her hair as she's doing something, or doing just something that might not necessarily be in the script, but as an actor, you're kind of like, well, what's my motivation here? What am I doing? What can I do in this piece? So I'll try to do that more often than not.
Yeah. When you were into comics as a kid, correct?
Yeah, sure.
Pretty young?
Always. Yeah? Still into comics. I'm at the store every Wednesday. Anybody wants to come by.
Yeah, I might just drive across the country to do that. That
come
sounds
down
amazing.
LA. We hang at the comic shop.
So tell me about Daredevil 183. I've never read it. Why is that issue important to you?
And
Frank Miller's Daredevil 183.
Why the 183? Oh, because that was the first Daredevil I picked. Is that what you read?
I believe so. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Well, you did do your homework.
I don't know when I had time.
That's a long, boring story. You don't want to hear that.
Well, no, at least some idea of where, how did they connect to you? Why were they so important to you as a kid?
Maybe more
how did you
a
find
condensed
yourself doing
version.
that?
I grew up in Miami Beach. I went to.
Yeah.
It's funny. I went to Miami Beach Senior High, which sounds like 90210. That's not a real school, is it? So every day, and this is before. Now we're so hyper aware of things, and this was before I understood that comics came out on Wednesdays, or they might not have even come out on Wednesdays back then. But I would always go by this little this drugstore back in the days when they used to have drugstores, and they had a spinning comic rack in the back, and they sold comics. And of course, the guy who owned the place didn't really care about comics, so there were maybe 3 or 4 months of comics just sitting in the rack. And as an avid reader, I was really into stuff, and I was just a huge Fantastic Four fan, and by extension, a Thing fan. So all of those titles, that was it. And I was just very snobby about going anywhere else. And at that point, Daredevil was this character, but he was still such a second or third stringer. And you're like, I don't know about Daredevil. I maybe want to get into this X-Men thing. I hear that Wolfman and Byrne are kind of good at it. Yeah, but I don't know if I want to really get into that. Out of sheer boredom, one time, I keep going to that damn drugstore, and there's nothing there. So I'm like, all right. Now, actually, along that line, I found the Teen Titans as well when Perez and Wolfman were doing it. I picked up a Daredevil issue, and 183. I can't remember what the cover was. I think it's Daredevil being shot by the Punisher. And I thought, well, okay, that's weird. Marvel wouldn't do that. They shouldn't do that. You have your 2 characters fighting like that. And I bought it and thought, all right, whatever. I'll go. And I mean, it opened my world. Frank Miller opened my world to what storytelling in comics were. I was still in high school, and I thought I might want to do this, but I mean, not artistically. Everyone says, "Oh, well, he's not as good," and I grant you that. But storytelling, the guy just blew me away. I was so immersed in that book. I quickly went to the same drugstore, and because he didn't care about his stuff, he had 3 or 4 back issues. Oh, wow. So I was catching up on Miller's Daredevil, and just again, I thought, it's almost like you find religion. Like, oh my God, there is something bigger than me here, and I can actually get it every month. Or at that time, it was coming out bi-monthly, if I'm not mistaken. So I caught up quick and had to wait, anxiously for the next issue, and that just blew me away in terms of storytelling. I realized comics aren't just that cool, hey, maybe the Hulk and Thing will fight each other. Now it's like this is socially relevant. This can actually move me. And it's funny. I later, when I started doing comics with another friend, we found out we had the same interest in that. You know how you quote movies. You're like, we're going to need a bigger boat, or that's no moon, that's a space station, whatever. We found we were doing that with comic books, and we found we were doing that with Miller's Daredevil. Because I think I met him once. And he came up to me and he said, well, can I go to help you out and do this? He's like, you are an idiot, and I do not employ idiots. And I was like, oh, my God, Wilson Fisk said that to this other character in Daredevil. And he was like, how do you know that? And we just bonded from there. So
that is too cool.
Totally irrelevant story, but that's why 183 is so important to me.
Well, now I know more. I can go and add to your Wikipedia page.
Which is, you guys do that? You sort of quote movies and
all that.
Yeah.
We have a podcast where we do that. That's what we do.
I have the best story for that because I'm like that. And then as I elevated in the business, I became part of Gaijin Studios, which was at the time Adam Hughes, Brian Stelfreeze, Cully Hamner, Tony Harris, Jason Pearson. The cornucopia of amazing artists.
Yeah,
and. As geeks, you sort of you quote movies, whatever, and you sort of try to outdo one another.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so we're doing that. Sort of digressing a little bit, that same friend that we used to do that, he prided himself on this sort of thing. Oh, my God. Ad nauseum, he prided himself. So one day he comes up to me and he says, hi. And he's like, where's that from? I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Where's that from? Hi. That's from every movie that ever came out. What are you talking about? Where that's from? And he was just that obscure. And, of course, he has this smug-ass look on his face that, oh, no, I thought you were one of us.
Like, I got you.
I got you with hi. And I'm like, no, that's bullshit. I don't know.
Oh, no, we're explicit.
No, you're good.
Yeah,
it's the internet.
So flash forward years, I'm sitting with Cully Hamner, and we're having very much the same conversation because Gaijin love to do that as well. And I'm like, oh, my God, yeah, but I had a friend who came up to me one day and said, hi, and he said, where's that from? And Cully, straight face, looked at me and go, oh, yeah, that's Superman, Lex Luthor. I'm like, how the hell do you know that?
Wow.
And he's like, well, it was the inflection, the way you said it. I'm like, you know what? All right. There are geeks, and then there's just another level that I obviously will never be a part of. Because my friend had said that to me, too, after I said I didn't know where that was. And he's like, well, if you're in the know, you would have known. And I just wasn't, so.
Well, it's a group you will always be welcome in, that's for sure.
Which is funny. Years later, not to digress anymore, but I started going out with a girl named Lois. For 6 months, I was in Superman heaven because I was looking for ways to quote things from the movie. And my biggest get was like, I like pink very much, Lois. And there was at one point in those 6 months that I nailed it. I actually got to say, I like pink very much, Lois.
That's too good. That's
awesome.
too good. And then eventually she saw the movie and was like, everything he's been saying to me for 6 months.
There's no
This is the most uninteresting. Yeah. I should have just been stating Superman this whole time. You've got a book you're doing with Jane Espenson that's online only for Spike, correct?
That we did. Yeah, I did that a year ago. Hasn't that come out yet?
No, I think it comes out in August, right? Because it's on Marvel Previews right now.
Yeah.
Or not Marvel Previews, but
Previews,
yeah.
And I'm trying to remember the book. No, that was, yeah.
Jane Espenson online only book. That's what I know. And it's Spike. And it's not out yet.
Is Buffy involved, or
I don't know. I haven't read it.
Oh, I mean, I only say that because Jane and I did work on quite a few things.
Oh, okay.
So I'm assuming that was the case. And Dark Horse loves to do that stuff way in advance. I did that free comic book day. God, last year.
Maybe they're finally just publishing it.
Probably.
It was online. Now they're publishing.
Did you Do you remember one that was online? Because my question was going to be whether or not that was a deliberate decision on your part.
They never tell me. No,
to talk about
that's
doing it
Dark
online
Horse.
only.
Yeah, because they obviously, as the world of comic books progresses, we are going in the digital age.
Yeah.
And Dark Horse more and more is trying to attract people, which I think is a good idea. To sort of attract people to the digital age and saying, here, these are things you can only get online. Just like Joss's, what was that? He was the band he did the story with.
Oh, Dr. Horrible.
No, not Dr. Horrible, but the other one. The about a band of characters who played in a band. And that was only available.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I have to.
Eventually came in Dark Horse Presents, but yeah, it's Joss Wheaton and somebody Bell, a European artist, and it's pretty good.
Oh wow!
But it was online only.
Yeah, shoot, I'll have to find that.
Yeah.
Because it's interesting, especially now when an Avengers movie can make 150 or over $1 billion, and then comics is still kind of trying to find its footing, even though that's where all of these characters grow from. Like it's hard. Like it's got to find some way to bring more people in, and if digital is that,
totally.
But if that wasn't your choice, then that question was just stupid.
No, I mean I'm work for hire. I like to. I would love to say, oh yes, they don't make a move without me and Joss. They have to approve it between the two of us.
Yeah. Well, they might have approached you and said like, hey, this is what we want to do, and
they'll say we're still trying to figure out where to put this, but we do know we want to do this, and especially with people like Espenson and Andrew Chambliss, who's doing Buffy now, those guys only have certain windows because their real job is writing Once Upon a Time or other films and things like that.
Yeah.
So we really need to get them when we can because we know we're the low man on the totem pole in that priority level.
Yeah.
I mean, and I say that, but you talk to Jane, and Jane's everybody who's come back who wrote for the show didn't come back for the money. They came back for the love of the characters.
Right.
And that, I think, speaks volumes as to what Buffy does.
You can tell, too, when you read the stories in Season 8, like they have such the voices, and it's people who love the characters.
Oh, yeah, it resonates.
It resonates, because even in the Tales of the Vampires and Tales of the Slayers, when they first got into it, it feels like home when you're a fan of the show, and it's really cool.
And it hurts when people will come up to me and I'll ask them, "Have you read the book?" No, I really don't know. I don't read comics, or even worse, somebody told me I don't know how to read a comic book. And I'm like, wow, this is what they give kids. How can you not know how to read a comic book? And I wish that comics were of a more legitimate stature so that
I agree.
When something like this is done, it could be maximized more than I personally think it is being right now, because people still look at comics as being the redheaded stepchild,
I agree.
Just a step above the romance novels or something like that.
Which is crazy because especially like, you hear about how short people's attention span is now and all of that, and I think, well, then you should be reading comics.
You should be reading comics every day.
I don't have time to read. I was an English major, and I don't read books anymore. Like, that's how crazy it is.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Do you have, obviously, you do Buffy every single month, and that I'm sure takes a lot. Yeah, that takes a lot of your time. But is there anything else that you're working on that you've got in the pipeline? That
I wish. I wish
soon?
I were a faster artist that I could do maybe 2 books a month or something like that. I am friends with. I will say that doing this Buffy thing, I've become friends with a lot of the actors and writers of the show. And I was doing a show at one point, and that's how I actually became friendly with Felicia Day and did some work with her Guild book.
Yeah.
And in the same token, I met Claire Kramer, who was Glory on Buffy.
Wow.
And she and her husband were starting up a website for Geek Culture. And they just sort of asked me, hey, would you like to be a part of it? We want sort of a really cool art element. And Claire is very business savvy. And she's like, well, obviously there's me that I'm associated with Buffy, and you're the Buffy artist. So it was a no-brainer that I called you and said, would you like to be a part of it? And these guys, I think they just recently went live last month, and it's called geeknation.com.
Oh, cool.
So I'm
very cool.
Casually affiliated with that right now.
Very cool.
Awesome.
But that's it. I hate to tell you, I'm on Buffy for another year, so that's... I live, eat, breathe Buffy.
Yeah. And then there's certainly a lot of it left. So I shouldn't ask you whether there will be 11,
I have pictures,
but I'm pretty sure.
Of Xander and Spike and Angel on my wall, and some people will come in my room going, do you like these men? Do you really like these men?
Well, they are very attractive.
I will say I've got posted on my wall Illyria right now.
Oh, yeah?
But I won't go any further than that.
Oh, man.
Snap.
Hey, unless you've got anything else, Ryan?
Oh, that was an amazing ending and teaser.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
I don't know where
George.
she's going to come in, but who knows?
It'll be a flashback or something cheesy. I'm sure.
I'm sure.
Don't look for that in the main storyline at all.
No.
Well, thank you so much, George.
we
that was
really appreciate
amazing.
it because
Not at all.
Again,
Yeah.
thank you for coming to Denver.
This was great. Yeah, I'd definitely come back. It's a
Good,
great show.
good, good. Because next year it will be bigger for sure. We were not
Good.
going to let this die. I mean, you've seen the lines outside. People
Yeah.
were hungry
Oh,
for
yeah.
a con like this.
Very
'Cause
cool.
We're in the desert. We can't even drive to a
I noticed
con.
coming from the airport.
Yeah. Yeah, you're like, wait a second, did I land in Denver?
Where is everything? Did a bomb go off recently?
All right. Well, thank you so
Thank
much.
you so
George.
much.
My
We really
pleasure,
appreciate it. Thank you so much.
A real nerd knows who shot at a real nerd. Can follow the plot and a real nerd will give it all they got. Lights, camera, action. Real nerds.
Thanks for listening to Real Nerds Podcast, a Nebulous Visions production. Stream or download episodes, read articles at realnerdspodcast.com. Stream us on Apple or Google Podcast, Stitcher, Spotify, or iHeartRadio. Follow us on Facebook, Real Nerds Podcast. Twitter and Instagram, at Real Nerds. Watch us on YouTube, Real Nerds Podcast. Email us at realnerds@gmail.com. Call us at 720-6nerds5. Thank you to Sparks Mandrill, Mike at Plan 9 Studios, and Bolognium for all of our groovy theme songs. And that's how you fucking do it.